Hi guys, so in this video we're going to have a look at creating a sprite. So a sprite is where we take an image and then we move it around the screen. So I've already downloaded the image I'm going to use. I'm going to use, I'll just go to my desktop. Here we are. Okay, so I'm going to use Kirby. So the first thing I have to do is update my TBS package and then create a new class like this. So you probably want to do this in a completely new class rather than using one that you had before. I've called it main3 and make sure that it matches down here. So this and this should be the same. And just check that you've got it right. If you click run, you should get that black screen when it starts up. Okay, so now I'm going to create my public void main. And the first thing I need to do to load the image is to get the location of the image. So I'll right click on my image and choose properties. And this tells me the location on Windows. There's something similar on Mac. I don't know exactly what it is, but something very similar. So I can copy that. Then I'll go back to Eclipse and write path p equals paths.get. Paste that in. And then put the name of the file, so it was kirby.png. Okay, I need to import path. Okay, now the reason I've got these two backslashes here is because in Windows we separate the names of folders with a backslash, but in Java a backslash has a special meaning. So if we want to get the normal meaning of backslash, we have to put two backslashes. Now, it does look kind of ugly to have two backslashes here. If you're on macOS, then you'll actually have a forward slash, which looks a lot neater. And a forward slash does even work on Windows, so I'm going to switch these to forward slashes just to make it easier to read. Okay, and save that. Okay, now this is going to, it doesn't load in my image. I've just created basically a link to where the image is. That's the path, the location of the image. To read in the image, that's the next step. So I put image Kirby equals file util dot load image and then the path, which I call p. Now I need to import image. Okay, now you can try running it here, and if you don't get any error, then the image was probably loaded fine. If you get an error printed down here, then chances are you've put the wrong location for the image, so just check what you put. Okay, the last step to put the image on the screen is I'm going to write screen.drawImage. The image I want to draw is Kirby, and the coordinates are 0, 0. So that's going to put Kirby in the middle of the screen. Let's test it out. And there we go. There's Kirby in the middle of the screen. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is I want to be able to move Kirby around by moving my mouse around. So I want Kirby to follow my mouse pointer. So I'm going to create a new method, and this method's called onMouseMove. Now this method has an X and a Y coordinate, and it will be called every time I move the mouse. Okay, so when I move the mouse, I'm going to get the X and Y coordinate of the new location of the mouse. So I'm going to copy this screen.drawImage and put it down here. And the place I want to draw the image is the X and Y coordinate of the mouse. Now this is where we have to be a little bit careful about the location of variables. So up here I've created a variable called Kirby. Okay, and I use that very common pattern in Java. I write the name of the type, then I write the name of the variable, then an equal size, and then the value that I want to give to the variable. So this is called the variable declaration, and this is called the variable initialization. Now if I declare the variable inside a method, then that variable only exists inside that method. So that means that I can use the variable Kirby inside the method main, but I can't use the variable Kirby in a different method, so inside onMouseMove, for example. Now, if I want to be able to use the variable Kirby in lots of different methods, then I need to declare it in a different place. So the declaration shouldn't be inside the method. Instead, I put the declaration inside the class, but not inside the method. Now this means that the variable is going to be usable from all of the methods inside this class. So down here, I write Kirby equals file util.loadImage. Now notice I didn't write image Kirby, I just wrote Kirby. Okay, that's because I'm not declaring a new variable, I am changing the value of the variable which has already been declared. So this is where I declare the variable, this is where I change its value, this is where I use its value. Okay, let's test that now. And yep, I can move Kirby around with my mouse. Now you can see that Kirby leaves a trail of other Kirbys behind him. So I don't really want to do that. What I want to do is clear the screen each time so that I only see Kirby in his current location. So let's close that. And then I'll do screen.fill. Now this will fill the screen with the current color. So if I test that out, I've got a white screen and Kirby moves around with the mouse. Okay, that's fine. Let's make the background black instead of white. So I'll set color to black. Try again. There we go. Okay, so now I can move Kirby around on my screen. That's fine. Okay, so guys, this should give you some idea about how to create sprites. Now, as well as on mouse move, there's another one. Another method you can use called public void on mouse click, which works exactly the same. Okay, so this method only happens when you click the mouse. You can see this by printing out on the screen. So if I run it now, okay, I can move around, and then if I click the mouse, you'll see that a message appears on the display saying the coordinates where I clicked the mouse. Okay, so down here it's saying where I clicked the mouse. So now you know how to detect where the mouse is moving and where the mouse is being clicked. And my challenge for you is that instead of moving Kirby with the mouse, what I want to be able to do is Kirby will stay still on the screen, and then I click the mouse in a location and Kirby glides to that location gradually. Now I'll give you a hint of how to do that. What you need to do is actually draw the image of Kirby every frame, so using the onFrame method. So this part will need to go in the onFrame method. Now the X and Y coordinates will need to be variables, and those variables need to be stored in the class. So we'll have int x equals 0, int y equals 0 up here. And then when I click the mouse, I'm going to need to change the values of x and y. So let's have a look at how I could do that. Now, in this method, I have a variable called x, and I also have a variable called x here. So this is a situation where we say that one variable shadows another variable. So the variable x here has the same name as the variable x here. That means that if I write x, I'm referring to this variable because this is the closest variable. Now if I want to refer to the variable up here, I can still do that. What I have to do is write this dot in front of it. So if I click the mouse, I'm going to put this dot x equals x, and that will copy the value of this x into this x. And I can do the same here, this dot y equals y. So that will copy the value of this y into this y. Now that's not the only way that you can do it. If you want to, what you could do is just change the name. So let's say, for example, I called this new y. Now I can write new y here, and I don't need the this anymore, because it's clear that new y means this variable and y means this variable, because the names are now different. I only need to write this dot if the names are the same, because that clarifies that this dot y means the y in the class, and y on its own means the y in the method. Now sometimes I like to write this dot even if I don't need to, because I think it makes the meaning clearer. Okay, so this dot y always refers to the y in the class. So sometimes you might see me write this dot y when I don't actually need to do it, but it's to make the meaning clearer. So what we're doing now is that when you click the mouse, the x and y coordinates where the mouse is clicked get copied into the x and y coordinates in the class. Now the place that I draw Kirby every frame is the x and y coordinates from the class, so I could write this dot x and this dot y here. It doesn't change the meaning. I can write x and y, or I can write this dot x and this dot y, because in both cases it refers to the x and y in the class. Now if we test that out, when I run it, Kirby stays in the middle, but if I click the mouse, then Kirby will jump to the location of the mouse. So that gives you a start of what I want to do. But remember, the finish task that I want you to solve is that when I click the mouse, instead of immediately jumping to where I click the mouse, I want Kirby to very gradually move to that location. Okay, so glide to that location. Now, there is a good solution to this, and there's a not quite so good solution. So the good solution is where Kirby very smoothly moves in a line from the start to the origin. A not quite so good solution, but still not bad, is if Kirby moves diagonally down a bit and then changes to moving horizontally. Okay, so there's if you do it the not quite so good way, that's still pretty good. Okay, well done. But if you want to do it perfectly, then a very gradual movement of Kirby following a line from the starting point to where I click the mouse is the ideal solution. Okay guys, I hope that all makes sense. Let me know if you need any help, and good luck.